The Giants' 1958 NFL season is considered one of the most landmark points in the history of pro football. While the Giants would not make the NFL championship that year, their passage to the title game became a seminal moment in American sports. The Giants in 1958 had Lombardi as offensive coordinator and Landry, who was the defensive coordinator. The 1958 season for the Giants ended up with a 9-3 record in the regular season and earned a spot in the final game with the Baltimore Colts. Both Lombardi and Landry brought unique qualities to the coaching of the Giants, and how they worked together is a fine example of professionalism and commitment towards the winning of the team. Lombardi had made the running game the backbone of his offense, starring fullback Frank Gifford and the accurate quarterback Y.A. Tittle. The 4-3 defense that defensive coordinator Tom Landry brought up was now the new way to go, allowing 4 linemen and 3 linebackers. Landry commanded respect from the Giants' defensive unit because of his ability to motivate his players and his cool, composed attitude on the sidelines. Famous players such as linebacker Sam Huff flourished under Landry's mentoring, adding to the Giants' defense as one of the most feared units in the league. The 1958 NFL Championship game played between the New York Giants and Baltimore Colts has been termed as the greatest game ever played. It was one of the most breathtaking games ever in sports history. Yankee Stadium, December 28, 1958, holds testimony to that fact. For the Giants, it was sealing their fate as champions of the NFL, but for Lombardi and Landry, it was the final test for each of their coaching philosophies. The 1958 championship game between the New York Giants and Baltimore Colts was the first NFL game to be broadcast nationally from start to finish, and the hype of the game thrust football into the national consciousness.
Smiling Sam Huff was transformed into a menacing villain. Today, the echo of these violent days is fading, and mild-mannered Sam Huff is an executive with the Marriott Corporation in Bethesda, Maryland.
And the 4-3 defense was just being developed by Tom Landry. Fortunately, I lived in the same hotel in New York that Tom Landry lived in. And he would call me down every night and talk to me about playing linebacker, going over defenses with me. So I was really tutored almost 24 hours a day by Tom Landry. And it was developed around me, and we coordinated all 11 players on defense.
While Landry built his defense on the practice field, Paul Brown turned to his scouts in the draft to offset the loss of Otto Grant.
Greet some boys who might help next year. Bill
Plummer. In the Miami area for something other than an NFL playoff.
Well, for a professional football team, it can't be any more exciting than to be any place the Super Bowl is. And of course, from that standpoint, we're real excited about being here.
9 games into the season, no one would have believed you'd be here today. What's responsible for turning this team around?
Well, you know, it's hard to say. We came with a lot of expectations this year. We didn't play well. We got beat badly a couple of times, and I think just got us working harder and concentrating more on what we're doing. And as we started to win, of course, the momentum started building up, and it's been going ever since.
The Colts, of course, are already here, and they're taking their practice sessions very seriously. What are yours going to be like?
They won't be any difference. You can't be any more serious than you can in preparation for a Super Bowl game, and we're going to be very serious. Our practice session is going to be much like training camp for us.
Your defense has looked extremely tough in the last few ball games. How do you think it's going to fare against John Unitas and company?
Well, hopefully we'll fare well. Of course, when you get into the Super Bowl, you obviously got the 2 best teams in professional football here, and when you're working against teams that good, of course, anything can happen.
A long time coming, but Tom Landry will finally be inducted into the Ring of Honor at Texas Stadium. Last night, some of his rowdy friends were on hand to salute him. Terry spoke with the Hall of Fame coach at his home this week, and Landry recalled a conversation he had with his wife 30 years ago.
I remember talking to Alicia about it, and I said, Alicia, you know, we're having an expansion club. And he says, boy, we'll be fired in 3 years. I said, nobody takes an expansion club anyplace.
Coach Landry, when people saw you on the sideline, all they saw down there was this stern face, this man over there.
You know, you're always ahead of the play. I'm watching the defense to see what's going to happen, and a big play is made, and the crowd goes mad, and they look at me, and here I am, standing there with no expression and no change. And it really is because of concentration. Concentration, to me, is the most important quality that an athlete can have.